Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Oblivion. My name is Pablo, and today we are doing the second ever prog metal reaction on this channel. Another one of my favorite bands of all time, Periphery, is releasing another album called A Pale White Dot. No idea what to expect, I'm gonna be honest. The last time they released anything was Periphery 5 in 2023, which was monumental for me. I wanted to react to it, but I was busy with school, so I just put it on the morning it came out as I was getting ready for school, and it blew me out of the water. That album was monumental for me. Absolute perfect work of art. The only thing more perfect to me is my favorite album of all time, Periphery 2. This time it's personal. Great album. Beautiful album. For a tech prog metalcore album, it just drips with passion for me. All the music is like so intricate but woven together in such a beautiful way. Spencer Satello's voice is awesome. Everything about that particular album speaks to me in a lot of great ways. But I love Periphery's like more heavy stuff, less melodic stuff. I would say modern sound, because again, I really loved Periphery 5. So, as I said, they're releasing a new album soon, in early May, I believe, called A Pale White Dot. I remember they released the acronym for A Pale White Dot on YouTube and Twitter. And somebody in a Reddit comment section actually guessed the album name correctly and suggested that it's kind of like a play on A Pale Blue Dot, where it's about something like, say, Nuclear Winter. And I've seen some people suggest that it's going to be a concept album because the only Periphery album that wasn't part of the mainline Periphery 1, Periphery 2, Periphery 3 was a concept album. For those who don't know, it was a double album called Juggernaut. There was Juggernaut Alpha and Juggernaut Omega, which were together a concept album about a man living in a cult. Now they've released their first single for the new album called Mr. God, which is a very Periphery song title, and definitely gives some Periphery 4 vibes with sort of the anti-religious and specifically anti-Christian sentiments that were expressed across that album. I also frankly love... Also, side note, I love how Periphery just sort of surprise drops. They go silent for years, and then they're just like, all right, everyone, time for a new album. It releases in a month. And I personally think that's a great way to do it. Anyway, here's Mr. God. I've seen that it's a very short song. It showed up on my Spotify because I pre-saved it. And I was like, 2 minutes and 58 seconds? Like, I don't even know what to expect from a Periphery song that's under 3 minutes, because so many of their songs are like at least within the 4 or 5 minute range. And then they have a lot of songs that go into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 17 minutes. So again, I really don't even know what to expect, but let's get right on into it. We are starting off very strong with the riff here. Hold on. It's so... That is a thick guitar tone, and the bass, that bass is real thick. Listen to that. It's so plucky. It starts off like real smooth there with the guitars, and then it like slowly crescendos into being real plucky right there. And I don't really know where they are. What's with the couches or whatever furniture that is? And what is all this in front of? Are they like in ruins? Is this the new version of the metalcore like warehouse videos where they're just sort of standing around in abandoned ruins? Shout out to the amp setup, because their guitar setups are kind of crazy. Like their rigs, they're crazy with the amps and they're crazy with the pedals. I love especially like the Periphery 5 doc where Misha's playing Atropos and you can see him like plugging his guitar into the setup, and there's like the floor is just a whole daisy chain of pedals, in front of him. Anyway, but we're starting off really strong. It's almost overwhelming the drums, but Matt Halpern's got a legendary snare still, so let's keep going. We're literally only like a few seconds into the song and I'm already overanalyzing. See, I knew I could do it. I knew I could do it. With the Muse song, I didn't really have much to say. I was like, yep, that's a Muse song. But here I'm already nerding out. All right, let's keep on. Spencer. Come on, what are you cooking, Spencer?
Wow, you can't put fire out with fire. The more you try to stop it, blazes fire. Let a single ounce of dare you. Let it spread out. Let it go the smoke straight to the head. Reality is melting.
Ooh. Okay. Okay, first of all, the vocals are going so hard on this, but second of all, this is interesting. First of all, we're getting a Spencer monologue, but we're also getting like the shimmery like drum machines. It's a very carnival thing, I would say. I actually really like the music video. The editing's going well. Oh, the bass! Spencer's going really crazy. The facial expressions. I'm hearing that chorus too. We're getting like the dissonant, like wildfire harmonies. First of all, love the set, but also another side note. Here on my MacBook, for audio capture, I use a multi-output device with my headphones plus like an actual like audio capture MIDI module that actually broadcasts the audio into OBS, but I have to like use both as one output at the same time, which means I can't change the audio of my headphones. And before I do a reaction, I've just got to like guess how loud the song's gonna be. And I often don't get it right. This is too loud for me, but I can't adjust it. I can't afford to adjust it. It'll be too much of a technical hiccup. But anyway, loving the music video, loving the set, loving the playing, loving the riff, loving Spencer's vocals, loving everything. I have no idea what he's saying, by the way. Okay, so that was actually not Spencer's voice with the dissonant harmonies. That was we got like the dissonant bend leads. We've got the Meshuggah solo. They're really going at it. Mark over here just... Ooh. That legitimately sounded like a Polyphia riff in minor. Not with the same level of like complexity, but it was like the same style of like chord progression that Tim Henson does, just in minor. The bass lick is also really cool there, but unfortunately there's no Nolly here, and there hasn't been Nolly here for a very long time. But you can hear him. You can sure hear him. He is loud in that mix. But I love those little chords right there, and like the little detail where like the little drum machines come in. That was real tasty right there. That was tasty. All right, let's keep going with the riffs here. Okay. I don't know if anybody heard that, but to my headphone listeners, that was crazy. To my non headphone listeners, it just went over here in the left ear and then over here in the right ear, with Misha over here, and then Mark over here, and then Jake right there in the middle. What is happening? Oh, that slaps. Spencer's going way too hard in this one. Actually, no, Spencer can't go too hard, but I don't know what he's doing, bro. All right, let's listen to that bit again. But Spencer just with the facial expressions, he's like attacking the microphone. He's got the little solo lick from Mark, and then they just go back down to just the stupid stuff, just the not zeros, but just the. Wow. Okay, that is a very abrupt ending. I'm wondering if the album version is gonna go longer or at least let that final bit ring out. I haven't seen the track list. I don't even know if there is a track list yet, but we'll probably pull it up in a second. As well as the lyrics. I want to see the lyrics for this one. Mainly because I can barely hear what Spencer's saying. But like, all those little affectations from Matt Halpern. That's great. Oh, look at all my musical theater stuff, and also 1 hour of silence, occasionally broken by the first 4 notes of Megalovania. All right, that's Mr. God. Let's analyze a little bit more, because I'm really feeling it right now. All right, here it is, pulled up fresh on Genius, a pale white dot. Let's look at the track list here. So we've got Obsession, Talk, Mr. God, Heaven on High, Unlocking, Subhuman, featuring the Will Ramos of Lorna Shore. We love some Will Ramos. Okay. I'm very excited for that. Because no one ever gets featured on a Periphery album. All of Periphery just gets featured on other non-Periphery albums. Or it's just Spencer's voice. I'm seeing a lot of like short, simple song titles, nothing like terribly fantastical, really. It seems like this might end up being like a very straightforward album, but what I'm hearing is very progressive nonetheless, and goes super hard. Next is Blackwall, Malevolent, Carry On, Neon Valley, Everyone Dies Alone, and finally A Pale White Dot. Everyone Dies Alone. That's rather dark. I'm curious. I'm curious now. Color me curious. All right, let's look at the Mr. God lyrics here. What it looks like it's referring to someone who is essentially playing God. Maybe they're close to death. Maybe there's some sort of lame duck leader. I don't know exactly what it's particularly implying, but it seems to be about somebody playing God, pretty much. And there's also, in the verse here, you stole fire from a god who stole fire from the gods, parentheses, arrogance and flair, which would appear to be a reference to Prometheus in Greek mythology, who stole fire from the gods and gave it to the humans, which is also said in this Genius annotation right here. I don't know what it's really trying to imply about the person. Are they trying to be like a Promethean-like figure? I don't really know, but I'm definitely liking the lyrics, and Spencer's going real hard on the vocals. So I think that's pretty much it for Mr. God. But that was That was great. I'm very excited for the album. It's feeling like this album might be a little bit just more straightforward and grounded as an album, but I am curious as to whether or not Periphery is going to do any epics, if this song is more of just like a short little ditty that was appropriate for a single, as opposed to, say, Wildfire, which is 8 minutes long. But this is great. I love it. It's awesome. And again, very excited for the album. I am also curious about, like, the album cover, simply because it's the first Periphery album, I think, ever to not have some form of the Periphery logo on it. At the very least, it usually has the 3 dots, but this album does not. It just says an album by Periphery. And it looks like this might be some sort of like a culmination of an album, maybe a bit of a thesis work, just based on the phrasing and how it's been advertised thus far. But yeah, I'm very excited to react to it. It releases May 15th, 2026, so I'm definitely excited about that. I hope to do, like, a bunch of album reactions soon. There's a bunch of bands who've released already this year, and a bunch of bands who are going to release, especially in the prog metal space. This year we already got Carnival, Textures. I listened to the Textures album already. I wanted to react to it, but I ended up just listening to it on my own time. And I wanted to maybe do a review, but I didn't feel like it. But yeah, we should be reacting to Inverses by Carnival soon. Green Carnation also just released, I think, like yesterday, as I'm recording this. They're doing a trilogy of albums, too, and they're actually releasing really quickly. I wonder if they've just, like, had this on the back burner for, like, the past 5 and 6 years, and now they're just sort of procedurally releasing it. I don't know, but either way, lots of great stuff from prog metal. Madeline of the Well is back together. Rishlu is back together. Gojira is working on a new album. Pain of Salvation is still working on it. I think we're probably going to be getting Pain of Salvation as often as Tool at this point. But anyway, I digress. Periphery has done it again. Great song, and I assume it's going to be a great album. Alright, everyone. This has been Pablo. I am now signing off. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the reaction. Click the dislike button if you didn't. Subscribe if you like my content, want to see more of it. Click the notification bell and set notifications to all if you never want to miss another upload. And I think that's about it for me. I hope to see you all again in Oblivion.
Scattered juvenile things are all I think of when I see anxiety.